This video is made for a YouTube channel and others who are ignorant of this subject. For a channel called Dystopia Now, because I've been had a few moments of conversation with this guy, and also he had put out a video recently called The Origin of New World Order and QAnon Conspiracy Theories, with the obvious attempt of trying to debunk and dismiss the idea of secret forces creating a new world order as just crazy right-wing talk. That's just theory and he can't prove it. Well, in this video I'm going to try to change, well, whoever's watching who is like that, change your mind on this on that subject. I have books written by secret societies where I'll show that they say some things in here that are a little bit of an admittance of that these secret societies do conspire from their own publications. And I'll start with this secret society that was founded in Pennsylvania. Our founding fathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, Ben Franklin, were members of. This author here, R. Swinburne Clymer, was a descendant of a founding father named George Clymer, one of the co-signers of the Declaration of Independence. This book is called Mystic Americanism. The secret society is called the Fraternitas Rosae Cursi. You can go to their website, www.soul.org, if you're interested in some of the stuff they have on their website and to learn a little bit more about them. This is the title page. Now what I'm going to do is just go over the little quotes that I found in these books and the stuff that I have here to show that the origin of the New World Order is really found in these secret societies long before presidents and politicians were using that phrase, giving evidence and some credence to the idea that, well, these secret societies are the ones behind bringing about this New World Order. So I'm going to attempt to show you some stuff that hopefully will change the guy who has that channel Dystopia Now's mind on that it's not conspiracy theory, nor is it anti-Semitic, because that's his argument, obviously, with uploading that documentary on there, was trying to show that most people who hold to the QAnon conspiracy theory and who, are Trump followers, which I'm not, are anti-Semites or secret anti-Semites or secret Nazis or whatever. Well, I'm going to show you that that is utterly false. And I'll show you that these secret societies do, years back, talk about a coming New World Order. And I'll start right here. On page 222 of this book, titled, The Renewal of the Vows of Brotherhood in the Priesthood. Quote, "This is the age of a new world order, the establishment of brotherhood, and the elimination of all retarding forces. The new age is upon us. Either we harmonize with it and its laws, or we shall be destroyed by it." New World Order. New Age, Brotherhood, New World Order, to the mystics and occultists, are the same phrase. The Golden Dawn, the Aquarian Age. I'll attempt to show that too. This book, by the way, 1975. So there you go, from a secret society. And I want to get a little bit more into, I just want to read a little bit more from this brotherhood. The same author, Harsweimer Clymer, wrote this book. According to the book, he had held a convocation in 1916. Well, you'll take a look at that. (1952). And I'll read you something. He had held a convocation in the year 1916. Early in the year 1916, instructions were received from the Count M.D. St. Vincent, Supreme Hierarch of the Fraternitas Rosae Cruci, to make preparations for a sacred convocation on the 68th anniversary of the establishment of the Supreme Grand Dome of the Fraternitas and associate organizations as established in America by Dr. Paschal Beverly Randolph. He was a close mentor to Abraham Lincoln. Them two were pretty good buddies. Both were members of this brotherhood. At this convocation, which was to convene on June 1st, 1916, the neophyte body was to be informed of a crisis that would be the beginning of the enslavement of the people of America in a manner so insidious that they would not be aware of it. America was to become engaged in a war that would be only the beginning of greater wars. Make up your own mind on what that means. Very interesting. This brotherhood has an Illuminati branch. It's fundamental laws. 68th convocation of the Rose Cross. (1916). Just listen to some of this and tell me if this is just a normal fraternal order. The Illuminati in its soul science work may be called the child of the Rose Cross Order. So, remember they mentioned the Illuminati. You can read that if you like. Just want to show you they talked about the Illuminati. And they held a convocation. I'll read at the beginning of this here. Early in the summer, instructions were received from the hierarchies to call the inner circle of the Rose Cross Order into session, and thus to fitly celebrate the 68th year of the Rose Cross Order in America. Goes on page 8. Under the authority of the Rose Cross Order founded in America in 1858, prominent delegates of the order were gathered in the most remarkable conclave held during the last 5,000 years. It's a long time. the publication of whose records now opens to the world the connection of Egypt in her ages of true religion, power, and glory, with the mystic seal of the United States, whose heraldic symbolism declaring the mighty destiny of America has, until now, only been known to a limited number. At Beverly Hall in the beautiful Tohican Valley, about 4 miles from the town of Quakertown, men and women of all ranks of life from all parts of the world, high masons and members of the Eastern Star, physicians, teachers, authors, members of all denominations, inclusive of the Hebrew, all these assembled at the call of the Grand Master of the Rose Cross Order for the 68th Convocation. Here are all them types of people that came to this secret convocation. In the Grove of Osiris. So don't tell me that some of the stuff that was involved with the convocation during the first week in June, this is page 9, in the Grove especially prepared for the dramatization of the ancient mysteries of Osiris, the Seal of Solomon, often called the Magic Circle, was especially built. And on June 11th, the dedication of the Magic Circle took place in the presence of the delegates of the Rose Cross Order, some of whom were natives of Germany, England, and Russia. This was in accordance with the system as practiced by the ancient priests of Egypt in the Sanhedrin of the Temple of Solomon. The Magic Circle, Grove of Osiris, members of all walks of life who were members of this brotherhood assembled at the call. That's including members of all denominations. Did you hear that? So I'll let you contemplate what that means. Okay. Introduction to the Great Seal. If the student will give serious study to the article on the seal of the United States, he will find that on the reverse side of the seal, which is as yet uncut, there is to be found the pyramid, but with the capstone as yet not placed. Thus he will see that the philosophy of the Illuminati is the absolute and undeniable philosophy upon which these United States are founded, as is clearly indicated by our fourfold philosophy, by the drawings representing our philosophy, and by the drawings of the reverse side of the United States seal. And thus it would appear that the unseen hierarchies which shape the foundation of the great republic, which must someday rule the world, are the same hierarchies which gave us the soul science philosophy as taught by the Illuminati. When I pulled up that page, pause it and read it for yourself. You think that these people are just, think this order is just nothing? It's just for, just to get together for shits and giggles? Make of it what you want. Maybe for good or bad. Just going with what the book says here. It says that, stuff in here that indicates that, hey, the unseen hierarchies which shape the foundation of the great republic, which must someday rule the world. Yeah. It says on page 43, today in America we have the restoration of this knowledge in these 6 orders. The Order of Illuminati, Order of Rose Cross, Ancient Order of Alchemists, Fraternity of Osiris, the Magi, and 8th Priesthood. Talks about some of the symbols of the dollar bill, particularly the all-seeing eye. Page 44, quote, the all-seeing eye looks down upon the ancient pyramid, which too symbolizes America and all she must mean to the world, out of a glory and sign of the descent of the New Jerusalem. That's what they call the New World Order, another name for it. They take it from the Bible, the New Jerusalem, or the new heavens and new earth. This emblem, the eye, is as old as man's appearance upon earth, being found upon ancient Chaldean monuments, Egyptian and Greek, while the Arabians, looking upon it, named the highest and holiest name of God with hushed voices and whispered, quote, I am that I am, unquote. The triangle about the eye stood from the most arcane times as the emblem of the Trinity of Osiris, Isis, and Horus, Father, Holy Ghost, and Son, as they stand today with us, and in which is sealed the law of the eternal three of the universe, and of men as its highest product. I will guide thee with mine eye. Page 45, quote, each fortunate heir of this glorious inheritance must seek the white stone which crowns the pyramid within himself in body, mind, and soul, the holy trinity of each son of God. Then may America realize her destiny as a city set upon a hill, a star that shall never go down, and the world ruler that shall call down the light of the New Jerusalem upon the battle-scarred earth, the Christ, to rule for 1,000 years. Read these. Matter of fact, I'll go back to that page where he talks about the 6 orders. Pause that, read that if you like. Bottom paragraph here is where he talks about America as someday being the world ruler, the Christ, to rule for 1,000 years. Which, biblically speaking, that would be considered blasphemous, so I don't know why they call themselves Christians, per se, but okay. Anyways, you can find this book. You can read it on archive.org. Okay. So anyways, we also have Manly P. Hall, one of Freemasonry's greatest scholars, go look him up, wrote about a coming world, the international nation. What I'm trying to show you is that the source of this dream of a world government, of a new world order, of a new age, is rooted in the secret societies, which would give evidence that the ones calling for the world government now in politics belong to these secret societies, since these secret societies are the source of that idea. So, but anyways, Manly P. Hall, and by the way, this book is nothing but big government socialism. Manly P. Hall was a big government tyrant, according to this book he wrote here. This one is in, here we go. It's page 146 of the book when he's talking about the international nation. Quote, the international nation, if once created, would become so interdependent that it would be impossible for its parts ever to separate and engage in warfare. With the international nation a reality, millions spent annually for the great powers of the earth to maintain their armaments could be largely directed to the actual development of the human race. The international nation would require no armaments. A sufficient policing system could be created by which minor factions that might insist on belligerent attitudes could be quickly brought into line. This international army of police could be made up of a certain number of selected men from each nation. And he goes on a little bit further down on the same page. If for any reason a nation should insist upon retiring from the international nation, and wished to withdraw its troops from the international police, it should be at liberty to do so, but no nation could hope to stand out against the solid body of the whole. So if you wanted to separate, you don't want any part of this new world order, and you wanted to be your own sovereign nation, according to Manly P. Hall, you could do so, but you wouldn't be able to survive without it. Which would be a joke, giving you that choice, but then you really don't have a choice if you want to survive. So, yep. I mark a lot of things I read. It helps me when I'm researching. So that's another proof here. And I could go way back. And do Freemasonry. Another Freemason. It's taken from the Freemasonic Encyclopedia. This is years ago. It's very old. Got this off eBay. Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Early 1900s, I believe this edition came out, or 1917, so pretty old. Under his definition of the word peace in Freemasonry, he reveals that Freemasonry, again, is the source root of this utopian dream of a world government. Of course, you find out that their definition of, their whole speeches about peace, and it's just bullshit. But anyways, peace. The spirit of Freemasonry is antagonistic to war. Its tendency is to unite all men in one brotherhood. Its tendency is to unite all men in one brotherhood. Remember what I showed you in that quote in Mystic Americanism with Clymer saying, this is the age of a new world order, the establishment of brotherhood. New Age, the Brotherhood of Man, Universal Brotherhood, all these are synonymous terms. New Age, the Age of Aquarius, the Golden Dawn, whose ties must necessarily be weakened by all dissension. Hence, as Brother Albert Pike says, quote, Masonry is the great peace society of the world. Wherever it exists, it struggles to prevent international difficulties and disputes and to bind, listen to this, and to bind republics, kingdoms, and empires together in one great band of peace and amity, to bind them into one. It's one brotherhood. It's global government, global order, new world order. And that's all the way back. And Albert G. Mackey, the original version of this book, is before 1917. So this is actually a much older book. This edition that came out is a 1917 edition. But, oh yeah, it's a little bit older than that. But that's one of the oldest that I have. I'm showing that the secret societies, particularly Freemasonry, are the brainchilds of this New World Order agenda that, a lot of people like to dismiss as just a conspiracy theory. And they have admitted of working behind the scenes. On page 179 of the Philosophy of Fire by Clymer, I like getting information from these books because it does kind of admit a lot. Quote 179, quote, they, the secret schools, have helped and still help to shape the destiny of nations. So
And it goes on, the initiates are more active in the West than ever before. So these aren't just secret societies where people are just getting together and slapping each other with a butt with a towel. or whatever the hell. They admit, and the page before that, they are the silent workers. They are in preparation of readiness for the work to be done in the new age. So no, these aren't just secret societies for just shits and giggles, like I said. Goes on earlier in the book, in page 23, quote, "These schools, although secret and unknown, have often shaped the course of empires and controlled the faith of nations." That is an admission, if there ever was one, of secret societies working behind the scenes. So don't say that it's just a conspiracy theory cooked up by anti-Semitic right-wing Nazis. Yeah, you have those out there, yes. But you do the research and you actually find out that there is an agenda for world dominion. And these secret societies are working behind the scenes. You can, whatever argument you want to make, maybe you can argue, maybe they're working behind the scenes, but maybe they're working for the good. Whatever. Talks about the invisible brotherhood of initiates, the brotherhood of the flame. So yeah, these secret societies are more than just, yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Page 158. Also talks about in these books of establishing the New World religion. But I'm running low on time here, so I need to it goes on here on page 114, the secret schools, all the true initiates and masters, remaining themselves the unknown, this is page 114, but influencing others to do the work to be done, or working through agents pledged to conceal their very existence. So, you can read that. And to top it off, quote this real quick. This is a very good book. I suggest to get it if you want to research the Illuminati in Germany and its other group, the Circle Social, led by Nicholas Bonneville, is one of our founding fathers, Thomas Paine. He had connections to this Illuminati. He was also a member of this brotherhood. On page... quotes Karl Marx. Yep, page 13. You can look this up on Marxist.org, and I'll show you the source. In fact, Karl Marx and Frederick Engels in 1845 attributed the modern communist movement to the leaders and authors of the Circle Social. That's that Illuminati brotherhood, or tied to the Illuminati anyways. Quote, "The revolutionary movement, which began in 1789 with the Cercle Social, whose main representatives were to be Leclerc and Roux, and which ended in Bebo's conspiracy, gave birth to the communist idea, which Filippo Buonarroti, a friend of Babeuf, reintroduced into France after the Revolution of 1830. This idea, consistently developed, is the idea of the New World Order." and read that whole page. And down here is footnote if you want to look it up. It's on Marxist.org, so it's not an anti-Marxist website. It's a quote that can be verified. Okay. Take it easy.